Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. It's so cold you cannot respond. Okay, my name is James Wanjohi Nyaga. I work for the Regional Center of Mapping for Resources for Development as a project manager for the project strengthening the network of excellence for disaster risk reduction. So today, I'd like to introduce at least two things to you. And hopefully, I will try to capture your interest in this. The institution RCMRD was established in 1975 under the United Nations Economic Commissions for Africa, the AU, and the African Union, with collaborations with the various member states. We have about 20 contracting member states. The ones that you can see in green are contracting member states, and the ones that are in purple, hopefully that's purple, those are non-contracting members, but we still work within this space. And the vision here is to try and use remote sensing and GIS or geographical information systems to create programs that really address the various needs that are within our member states. We have a lot of programs and projects that we do within the institution, but just to highlight those that are within the DRR and early warning and anticipatory actions, we have at the moment a program called the Passage, or the Pastoralist Livelihoods in the African Greater Horn through effective anticipatory actions. Here we're trying to look at how vulnerable communities within the rangelands of Kenya and the transboundary areas of Kenya are really vulnerable because of either conflict or resource availability. And we try to create an early warning system around that. We also have done some work in Malawi, considerable work in Malawi on vulnerability mapping and modeling, and as well the Lake Victoria Basin Commissions. So, within the Lake Victoria Basin. So the idea here is to look at how climate change is affecting the issues regarding exposure and vulnerability of population. And we try to create standardized data sets that can help indicate where risk is highly prevalent. And we have done this in Malawi, as I said, and also the Lake Victoria, and some of this work has informed other projects like the community-based flood early warning system that is being done by Calvin Swara through the use of the GeoGlow system as well. We also have a project on pest management systems risk management system for plant pests and diseases. And the idea here is to collect various indicators of prevalence, not prevalence, but occurrence of various pests and diseases. And we use a mobile application to collect this data, and we actually did this work in the past 1 month. And the idea here is to help us see or model risk hotspots of occurrence of these pests and diseases. Also within the national conversations in Kenya, we have been participating in simulation exercises in anticipatory action activities. For example, we were part of the technical working group for Kenya, where we developed the flood and the drought early action protocols. And as most of you know, that the past year or so, we had very devastating floods, and actually that protocol was activated. Contrary to the news, the deaths realized this year were actually less than the ones that had been reported earlier, just because the early action protocol was able to be effective. So we are part of these conversations, and also we have done the simulation exercises for these early action protocols. We piloted this in Busia. I think these are the Budalangi areas where flooding is actually very prevalent, and also in Trans Nzoia, where also that is also an issue. At the moment, we are developing the anticipatory action roadmap strategy for Kenya. We have just finalized, not finalized, but we have maybe have a near final draft for this strategy, with collaboration, of course, with IFRC, NDOC. This is the National Disaster Operations Center in Kenya. And we hope that maybe very near, in the near future, we'll be launching this strategy. So the second, of course, we have a number of other activities we are doing, but just one more mention of activities we are doing at RCMRD is creating the hazard atlases. So for example, if you just Google RCMRD and hazard atlases, you'll see that we have developed for the counties of Kenya 23 hazard atlases. And these are actually being used for either planning or contingency planning at those sub-national levels. So you can Google that if that is of interest. So the second part of what I wanted to present to you is this network of excellence for disaster risk reduction, an African-wide initiative that we are trying to bring together expertise across Africa. And the idea here is to really feed into the conversations that are happening within the continent in regards to capacity building, in regards to availability of risk information, in regards to enhancing corporations that really help to the realizations of early warning systems or multi-hazard early warning systems. So through the funding of the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Office here in Africa, in Nairobi, through funding also from the ministry, from Italian government, we were able to initiate this network last year, 2023. Here we were trying to really see what would be the framework that would help us to create such a network, and what will be the main pillars of this network. So for this first phase, we focused mainly on expertise mapping. We focused on looking at what would be possible in terms of knowledge sharing through either South-South collaborations or South-North collaborations. As well, we went through this activity of expertise mapping within Africa, where we were trying to identify who would be the potential network members or members of the network forum, of the NOE forum. So that's what we did in 2023. And then in 2024, earlier January, in this year, January, we started the second phase of the project. And here we're trying to develop a multi-hazard early warning training curriculum, which we have been able to implement in 3 main countries, that is Ghana, Mozambique, and Uganda. So we realized that, yes, Lorenzo was talking about AMEWA's AMEWA's initiative that is being done at the AUC, but also we realized that also this has to translate a little bit to the lower levels. You have to look at how to join the activities at the AUC to the REC, or regional economic communities, and also to the national level. So that's why we, in the second phase, we said that maybe the idea not to focus at the regional level, but really to look at what are these national priorities that would help enhance this initiative. So, as I mentioned, the focus areas for the NOE is really on expertise mapping, promoting capacity building, mobility exchange, and also seeing how best we can establish the network of excellence for DRR. So one of the things that we also realized in the second phase is that we need to enhance our implementing partners. Okay, so initially we had started with the 5 main partners. We had Chima, who was leading the initiative, RCMRD, of course, the Periphery Network, if you know about the Periphery Network, with the Secretariat at Stellenbosch University, and also we have WASCAL representing West Africa, and DMCR representing Mozambique. We have Mozambique, Seychelles, Zambia, Botswana, and these other countries. So as you can see, the representativeness of this collaboration is actually African-wide. But we added a second implementing partner led by the United Nations University of Environment and Human Security, who brought on board the World Food Program, and also University of Cape Town, University of Free State, Disaster Management Training and Education Center in UFS, and also indigenous knowledge. We were talking about yesterday how we can bring indigenous knowledge into the conversation. So these 5 other members were able to enhance really specifically in the curriculum development, and also bring in the anticipatory action and indigenous knowledge into the conversation. So the objectives of the network really is to enhance collaborations between these centers of expertise, of experts, you know, and to bring technology into the conversation of risk analysis. And hopefully by so doing, then we'll be trying to address the needs, the national priorities, or the regional needs through leveraging this network that we have created. As such, we started the network forum to really kickstart this conversation. So just the last part, in Monday and Tuesday this week, we started the network forum. We held the network forum at RCMRD, and we brought on board experts from different parts of the world, you know, to help bring this conversation to light. And we are trying to really focus on how to bridge communities. So we are trying to see how best to kickstart these connections within African institutions, because we realize that most institutions are working either in silos, and the activities or the outputs of these institutions, technical institutions, for example, are not finding their way into addressing national needs. So how best do we bring on board these connections? How best do we provide awareness, and how do we empower these institutions to be collaborative in nature? So along the capacity building within this project, we looked, as I mentioned, we were working in 3 main countries. So we developed the training curriculum, which we piloted in these 3 countries. And mainly we were trying to look at anticipatory actions, indigenous knowledge, and also how to address the creation of early warning bulletins if they didn't have any. And we did not just come up with a training program from anywhere. We actually went and engaged this. We went to these national institutions, visited them, did some assessment, understood some of their gaps. For example, this is the case for Ghana. We tried to see what kind of risk information they are producing and which institution is producing that information. And then we asked them to let us know what kind of data or what kind of needs or training needs that they would like to see. And it is from these training needs or mapping of these training needs that we were able to formulate specific training course that is specific for that nationality. And we did this, as I mentioned, in Ghana. So this is the case for Ghana and what we were able to do there. The courses were tailored to be in were tailored to be delivered in 2 ways. So there's the online, we did an online version. So currently we have an online version of this training that the experts within the priority institutions were able to take about 4 weeks worth of this online training. And then we went, following that online training, we went and did the in-person training, where now we fine-tuned some of this knowledge that was already passed through the online training with the physical training. So, as I mentioned, one of the tasks was also to establish the network, okay? So we provided a governance structure of this network. And this is how it looks like. We have at the higher level, a network management committee, which is composed of a secretariat with a permanent member who is the UNDRR. And then there will be a nomination of one other member institution, which will be rotating to the various centers in Africa. And then on board of that, we have the AFSTAG, okay, who are championing the issues with technology. We have the members of the working group or representing the working groups. We also have continental institutions that are part of that, and also member state institutions that are also part of the network management community. Actually, the nominations for being part of the NMC is still ongoing, and I'm going to share how that is going to be. Of course, the membership of the NMC is being taken from the NOE forum. So the NOE forum is where everybody sits, okay? But within the NOE forum, we created 2 main working groups, okay? One, the working group is the risk information generation and innovation for early warning, early action, and anticipatory action. So this group will mainly be looking at how is risk information being produced, how is it being shared, how is it being generated, all the 7 objectives that have been defined. And then the next working group is on capacity building. This is where most of the institutions that are training institutions sit. And this is where now they will be taking all the capacity building activities within these working groups, and also more knowledge sharing, okay? So in order for you to be a member, of course, there needs to be a criteria to it. And we have a terms of reference, the document for you to sign, and also the letter of commitment that is available for you to sign. But mainly you have to be geographically representative, and also look at issues regarding gender, issues regarding DRR that really could be informative or contributory to the network. We have a membership that is over, we have a website that is open, and I'm going to demonstrate this towards the end. I hope we have internet in the computer. I'm going to show that. So if you like to share with us details of your company, you can scan that QR code, and it will take you to a form where you're going to fill this information that is actually needed for us to be able to engage with you. And afterwards, actually, I am going, or somebody else is going to follow up with you so that we can have a much deeper conversation. So looking ahead, there's still some pending activities to do. We are yet within this second phase to do the South-South mobilities, where we try to identify experts within the various national institutions and try to connect them to centers that are providing expertise within those that they have identified. And also, we are trying to look at the institution in the north, the UN Spider Network, for example, the EU Commission, for example, the UMETSAT, trying to see how then can we move experts within the South, the global South, to go and learn what they are doing within in the North. So allow me to demonstrate this website, if that's okay. Yes, please. So if you go to Prevention Web and the Google, the African Network of Excellence, you're going to come to this page. This page basically described exactly what I've been trying to communicate, what the center is about, how to become a member, and of course you have various links to how to register. If you would like to sign the statement of commitment, is also linked there, and the terms of references are also provided. But below that, you also see the courses that we have developed currently. We have the course 1 all the way to course 6, and also some of the mobility exchanges that we have been able to design for the network. And also, there are links to the current implementing members and what some of the relevant pages that provide information about what we have done in the past 1 or 2 or so years that we have been doing this work. And then I think all the information that you would really need in terms of how to join the network is here. Please have a look, and if you like more information, you can let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much.
James, maybe we have time for one short question. Because I don't want to say late because compared to the other days, we are pretty much on time. But is there? Didn't see there.
Actually, this is a very James.
Yeah.
What sources can we point to so far in the activities of the UAE?
Sorry?
Success stories can we point to?
Success stories. Success story.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. John Kissing. I feel that that question is you're part of the network. So yes. Well, it's a good question because we are really trying to kickstart the process. So we are at the very initial stages of implementing the project of the network, as you might refer to it. But as I said, is that we have tried now to move from the regional, somehow continental view to national priorities. And at the moment, we have implemented a lot of activities in the 3 main countries. What we have seen is that we have kickstarted collaborations within various national institutions like the disaster operations centers, the med services, and also the hydro services. Although these conversations were ongoing within the countries, but I think we are bringing them closer to each other to start thinking about how best to implement risk information or risk related activities together in collaboration. And we are showing them how to do this, especially when it comes to developing early warning information, when it comes to developing early action information. They're really trying to look at what is the organization mandate, what is the organization responsibilities, and how does it fit within the entire continuum of early warning anticipatory action chain. So, fostering collaborations, we have developed a curriculum, a multi-hazard curriculum. Of course, it requires a little bit of enhancement, but it's there in case I would like. We can receive even more requests from other nationalities. We have something to fall back to. As well, this network, I think, is actually very, very powerful, because we have a network that we can leverage, that we can really activate when we have various needs that have been identified. So that in itself, it's a wealth of information, of a success story in my view, because we are trying to look at how to connect all these centers within the entire Africa, and that's not a main achievement.
Thank you. Well, I mean, if I can say one thing, I think that for GFP, it could be also an opportunity for us, I mean, to connect to the network somehow. We were discussing this with others somehow. There is a lot of expertise in the room of various nature, from Africa, from South Africa. So even on an opportunistic basis, I mean, if we can liaise, basically, I mean, with the network of excellence activities, I mean, I think it could be good. We can discuss that on how to do this.
Yeah.
I think that's there's an invitation I would like to do. Maybe, I mean, also, you know, people in the room that have projects in Africa. I know, I mean, single companies or whoever is interested in working here. It can use it like, you know, the network of excellence as sort of your entry points, how you're seeking for cooperation with, say, African centers that are working in the domain of floods, risk management, and this kind of thing. So I don't know, it's a starting point to know how it is working in the domain, and maybe make connections. And if you have a project, that's also. So thank you, James.